I'm currently working in legal compliance and software systems, and privacy law is an important part of that. What we're doing is trying to develop methodologies and software engineering processes that ensure that what you say in the legislation actually happens and is realized in the technology. There are currently two major steps in trying to turn a piece of legislation or a policy document into something that is realized in software. The first step is to go through the policy document and analyze for software requirements, identify and pull out of the legal text what a software system has to do to comply with this law. The second step is to manage those requirements throughout the development process so that when you actually deploy the system, every element of that system conforms with the software requirements that you've developed from the law. The ideal situation is to be able to prove compliance through some technological means. A big piece of that would be to have a very well-stated policy of a development process that you've gone through at every single step so that you can trace from the law to the actual software requirement that you pulled from the law, and from the requirement to the subsection of the source code that implements that requirement, from that source code to the code that tests that source code to make sure that so you have a trace from all the way from the law straight to the final end product in the technology. When I look at others in the field, so that sort of the pillars of the field, you can see that they have had an impact. Maybe a really good example of this are election systems. So direct record electronic voting machines have been in the news, and there's been quite a bit of legislation passed for what the standards for those machines should be and what we would want as a democratic society in an ideal voting situation. There really is an important dialogue between technologists and legal experts and policymakers that needs to be fostered. There needs to be a place for these discussions to happen. And it's very difficult because they are such disparate fields, and they have been disparate fields for so long. But the intersection is only getting wider. Technology is only becoming more and more important in society. And so we need to foster these discussions and foster these relationships in some way.